Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an updated brow routine. And I always have my brows done when I sit down to do a tutorial. It just saves me a ton of time. And I feel like my last tutorial that I did on my brows was about 2 years ago, so it's time for an updated one. I still do prefer something that's a little bit more full and natural looking. I don't like it to look too harsh on my face or drawn on. So that's what we're doing today. And I'm really excited about it because you guys ask me all the time about my brows, and I thought I would give this disclaimer because if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I pretty much always use an Anastasia brow wiz for my brows. It's just my favorite one. So I went and got a new one just for this video. And I went to open it to use it, and I don't know if you guys can even see it, but the tip is completely broken off. Like, I don't even know how that happens. So you guys are actually getting a drugstore option in this video. I'm using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is a great option from the drugstore. I feel like these are super comparable, and this one cost a fraction of the price. So if you'd like to see how I do my brows, then just go ahead and keep on watching. So we are jumping right in with defining our brows, and I'm first taking my spoolie and just brushing the hairs upwards. I feel like this just helps me see my sparse areas even more, and you can see I have a lot of sparse areas. I have areas that have never grown back from my junior high tweezer happy days, and I like to start on the bottom half of my brow, and I just kind of line out the shape that I want. And you can see here I'm filling in one of those areas that just never grew back, and I use a little bit of a heavier hand there. And then I'm also going to extend the tail of my brow just the slightest bit. And now I'm starting on the top of my brow, and I already have an arch, but if you don't, this is where you could fake it till you make it. And I'm starting at the arch of my brow, and I like the arch in the tail of my brow just to be a little bit darker and more defined than the front. It just looks a little bit more natural in my opinion. So I'm basically just doing the same thing, just mapping out the shape of my brow, and now I'm just going in and filling the brow. And I like to use really small hair-like strokes just so it looks like hair and it doesn't look like I'm coloring eyebrows on my face. My brow hair is actually quite dark. I have naturally black hair. It's just really sparse, but if I go in with a heavy hand, I can get cartoon brows so easily, so that's why I prefer to just do a little bit of a lighter hand whenever I fill in my brows. And you can see now I am filling in the front of my brow. I'm using an even lighter hand when I get to this area because I don't want it to be as dark as the arch and the tail of my brow, and I'm also changing how I'm applying it. I always like to make sure that I'm applying it in the direction that the hair grows, and in the front of my brows it grows up and down. Moving on to my other brow, you can see I literally have two totally different shaped brows. All the women in my family do. I don't know what it is, but we have very asymmetrical brows, and I try to make them look as symmetrical as possible, but just remember, your brows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. You can see here I am again just filling in that area that never grew back and straightening out the bottom of my brow. And I do like to use these smaller kind of strokes even whenever I'm defining the bottom part of my brow where I have no hair, because it just looks a little bit more natural. It doesn't look like a long line across the bottom of my brow. So I'm doing all the same steps that I did on my other brow, starting at the top and then just kind of connecting that to the bottom of the tail, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in that front part. After I fill in my brows, I always like to go in with the spoolie end again and then just brush through everything. Make sure nothing looks too harsh. I especially like to brush through the front part of my brow, but on a day-to-day basis, a lot of the times I will leave it at this. But if you're going for more glam, then let's go on to step 2. We are going to use some brow powder. I love brow powder. I feel like everyone kind of forgot about it with the pomades and everything, but I feel like brow powder is
amazing. So my kind of little trick is to brush the hairs in the opposite direction that they're going to lay, and it really shows me the areas that are more sparse, that need a little bit more filling in, that I didn't want to do with a pencil. And using the powder on top of the pencil, I feel like just makes your brows look fuller and just more natural. And I love brow powder. I love layering the two. I feel like it just gives me the most full, natural looking brow that I can have. So I like to, like I said, brush those hairs in the opposite direction, fill in those extra sparse areas, and then I just go over pretty much the whole brow. And just like I did with the pencil, I do use a lighter hand. I don't pick up any extra product when I get towards the front of my brow. I just use whatever I have left on my brush so that I still get that nice gradient effect. So step 3 is cleanup, and I feel like this is totally optional. I pretty much only do this whenever I am taking photos or special events, things like that. But you can take a tiny little concealer brush. I love this one from Real Techniques. Just a little bit of concealer, and then just trace underneath your brow. This really helps if you need your brows waxed. It helps to cover up any kind of mistakes and just cleans everything up and makes it look a little bit sharper. And now that you have your brows completely done, it's time to set them in place. I love the Anastasia clear brow gel, and I love the Brunette one as well. It's a really great tinted brow gel, but her brow gel is literally the best. It keeps those brows in place all day long. And my brows are crazy on the ends, like they like to droop down, so I always go in with the brow gel. I like to brush my brows up first and then kind of sideways and just lay them in the direction that I want them to be. 5 is definitely another optional one, but I love to highlight underneath my brow. And what I do is I apply it first underneath the arch of my brow, and that's where I apply it the heaviest. And then I just kind of diffuse it out towards the tail of the brow.
And that's it. It's really pretty simple. Once you get the hang of doing your brows and kind of the shape that works best for you, it actually goes pretty quickly. It still is one of the most time-consuming parts of my makeup routine, but I've got it down pat to where I can do it pretty quickly now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it helped a little bit, and I hope if you are not subscribed to my channel already that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hang out with us, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.